Chapter 6. Dana reread the notes scribbled on one of her cupcake wrappings in disbelief. A fluttery feeling centered in her chest. Her insides began to quiver. She felt weak in her limbs, and she was sure her temperature climbed up a notch. The nerve of that coward, whoever left the note. Meow? You can say that again, Truffles. Who on earth would send this? It was as if Dana were speaking to nature as the wind howled back in response. Determined to get down to the bottom of this, she quickly peeked around the courtyard and saw no one. They couldn't have gotten away so fast. Could they still be hiding around the house? Should she turn this note over to the police? But then again, Detectives Troy and Evan weren't exactly nice to her. Why should she trust them? Or should she? She couldn't wait for her auntie and uncle to arrive. They'd help her sort this out. Dana decided to go around to the side of the house to fix one of the shutters. She walked over to the far right. Truffles followed her, keeping her company. As she got closer to the side, Dana stumbled and fell down into the gutter below the window. Before long, she felt strong hands grab hold of her. Oh no. She let out a piercing scream. Was she going to die? "Hurry up, woman," Merv said to Petunia with a grin. "You would take a century to get ready if you could. We're late for Dana's dinner party." "It's hardly a dinner party, dear." Petunia was busy placing her earrings on her ears. "She's just having a little housewarming with the immediate family to mark her new home at the Victorian. And we're early." "No, we're not," Merv said to Petunia impatiently. His fingers slid behind his suspenders, holding up his pants. "We're on time when we're half an hour early." "Oh, Merv, you always keep this half an hour early thing." "And why shouldn't I? You know what they say about the early bird getting the worm, right?" Petunia playfully rolled her eyes and grinned. She loved her dear husband, but they were so opposite in their ways. "Dana is probably like me, dear," Petunia added with a smile as she continued to fix her earrings, glancing in the vanity mirror on her dresser. "She would like her guests to be on time, not early, not when she has all those dishes to prepare. And you know, I offered to help in the kitchen, but she insisted she wanted to try out some of her grandmother's recipe on her own and just get comfortable in the kitchen." Petunia sighed. "Ma Ray was a really sweet lady. She was like a mother to me, too. I miss her." "I miss her too, darling." "And you know something, Merv? I worry about Dana." "You too, huh?" "Of course. I mean, she's such a sweet, dear girl, and she's trying so hard to save the cafe. But it's as if there's some odd vibes going on around town about the cafe."
"Well, you know the Baxters would love to see the cafe shut down, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. You mark my words."
"I know. I just wish we had the funds to help her pay off some of those debts. Now we have this murder investigation going on. You know something?
"What, dear?"
Let's head over there now. I'm worried about Dana. My instincts tell me that she really shouldn't be alone. I mean, what if whoever is trying to frame her—"
"Don't even go there, darling. Nothing will happen to our little pumpkin niece."
"I hope not. Let's go now." Petunia grabbed her Vuitton knockoff handbag, feeling a tinge of guilt over not letting Merv on to what she had done by selling her original to help with the costs on the house. They were going through a rough patch, and Dana had offered to help them out. Bless her heart. But it seemed as if Dana would be the one who needed more help. Still, family stuck together no matter what. Dana was her brother's darling child, and she'd do anything to protect her. Dana cried out and wiggled to get free from whomever was grabbing her. She caught the sweet scent of spicy aftershave or cologne from whomever held her captive. Then,
"It's all right, ma'am. I've got you."
A gentle, deep voice sounded. She spun her head around and saw that it was Detective Troy. Stunned beyond belief, she was relieved as his strong, muscular arms pulled her out of the ditch. "What are you doing here?" Dana asked incredulously.
"I could ask you the same thing, ma'am."
"I live here."
"In the ditch, ma'am?"
Okay, he got her there. Charming and handsome and witty to boot. But she was sworn off men for now, right? Though she was very glad that he'd saved her from scooting further down that hole. He pretty much saved her life. "No, not in the ditch." Dana paused, breathless. "Anyway, Thank you, she said hurriedly, brushing herself off. What had she been thinking? She should have been more careful, but she didn't realize the depth of the ditch or how soft the ground was around that part of the house, which was yet another thing she would have to take care of when she earned enough money from the café to do repairs around the old Victorian. I just happened to be around the area patrolling, he said. Oh, really now? She arched a brow. Well, no, actually. I came here to see you. He seemed to hesitate for a moment, and in the early night sky that had turned a dusk and purple hue, his striking features looked positively gorgeous. But Dana had to remind herself that he was a cop who earlier had been interrogating her about a murder. Well, Dana liked a guy who was honest at least. That gave Troy one over her two-timing ex-fiancé, Ramon. You did. Why? Dana asked cautiously. There went that fluttering in her chest again, to her chagrin. This time it wasn't for nerves. As soon as the detective helped her back to the front of the house, she remembered she had something in the oven. Oh no, the oven's still on. Smells good. I see you take after your grandmother. Thank you, she said, hurrying back to the kitchen. Troy followed her inside. You still didn't tell me why you were here to see me, she added, not forgetting the conversation. She knew that someday multitasking would come in handy. She quickly whipped out her tray of cupcakes from the oven and placed it on the granite stone countertop beside the already cooling pan of lasagna she had taken out earlier. She was thankful that she was able to upgrade the stone on the counter a few weeks ago. Her grandmother's old wooden counter had taken a beating over the decades, beyond repair. Though Nan's really wasn't one for modernizing much and liked to preserve the integrity of the old place, Dana ensured that it fit in with the vintage decor. Well, actually, your Nan and I were good friends. Oh, you're the officer she mentioned who used to check up on her once in a while. Yes, she was good people. I know. By the way, would you like to stay for dinner? My aunt and uncle will be stopping by soon. Oh, no, I'm good, thanks. Just ate. I see, Dana said, tossing the salad before getting the table ready. She quickly eyed the clock, then turned her attention back to Detective Troy. So you were saying? Dana wondered if she should tell the detective about the note she just found. But right now, she didn't know who to trust in this cozy small town that made her feel like a stranger amongst them. Truth was, she really did feel that way right now, especially after what Gertie Sue told her about some folks not liking people who were different. Was Detective Troy that way too? Who knew? Wait a minute. Could he have been the one to leave the note? No, he wouldn't be so obvious. It would have been way too obvious. But Dana couldn't help but think about how strange it all seemed. And where was Auntie Naya and Uncle Merv? Dana knew that Katie was working late at the cafe tonight and would be home later. Keep an open mind, Dana. Not everybody's gone wacky. Well, I just wanted to ask you a few more questions. Oh, so it was strictly police business. Well, of course it was. Why else would he be there, right? You mentioned that you had gone to the Gazette for an appointment with the advertising department, right? His tone was serious. I believe that's what you told my partner, Detective Evan. Yes, that's right. Dana was suspicious now. Truffles hissed loudly. Well, I'm just letting you know that Sam, the advertising manager, did not corroborate your story. What? What do you mean he didn't corroborate my story? But I was there. I was there to place an ad. And did you? Did I what? Place the ad. Dana froze. What on earth was going on there? No, she did not end up placing the ad, did she? Well, no, I didn't because it's sort of hard to carry on with business as usual when there's a dead body in front of you. And what were you doing in Brad's office? He's a reporter, not an ad manager. Well, there's a perfectly good reason for that, officer. Detective. I'm listening. He remained stern, yet she could not tear her eyes away from his handsome features. Okay, stop it, Dana. He's a cop, and his interest in you is purely legal, nothing more. I was going to place an ad, but then there was no one in reception, and then the cleaning lady screamed out and said that Brad was dead, so I followed her into the cubicle office. I can't believe Sam wouldn't tell the truth about me going there to see him. You know, you ought to subpoena Sam's calendar to prove he's lying, Aunt Naya said as she walked in through the open door, her chin up defensively as she now stood in the doorway of the kitchen. Her imitation designer handbag in the crux of her arm, she was smacking gum and had her eyes narrowed on Detective Troy. Thank God for family support. If my Dana says that she had an appointment with him, Aunt Petunia continued, then my Dana had an appointment with Mr. Advertising What's-His-Name, period.
So you're Dana's aunt.
Detective Troy rolled his eyes as he reconfirmed her identity, since he'd met her earlier at the Gazette. That's right, and something fishy is going on in this town, and I don't like it. You guys are after the wrong gal or person of interest.
We don't have any formal suspects yet, ma'am.
Detective Troy's voice remained firm.
But we'll be in touch later.
Detective Troy then nodded courteously to Uncle Merv and Aunt Naya, and then he was out of there in no time.